I've prepared them to also address your mind on certain debates that take place in Parliament. Remember, we are talking about mandate. So Rule 2 says the leader of the opposition means the member of Parliament. That's the first condition. Who is the leader in Parliament of the party in opposition to the government, having the greatest numerical strength? People debate this. If you want to be a leader of the opposition, you go to elections. And the elections will give you your level. That's the only way a leader of the opposition comes. So it again goes back to what we are talking about, power. That people should give you power, should give you authority. And this authority comes from the party in opposition. Right now, it is the National Unity Platform. That cannot be taken away from them. No political party can take away the leadership of the opposition, because the question has been settled on January 15th. The next question about the leader of the opposition will be settled in 2031 if the elections take place. So I have brought this to show you the mandate of the shadow cabinet, because we already saw that the shadow cabinet is appointed by the leader of the opposition. And who is the leader of the opposition? And where does he get his mandate? He gets the mandate from the party that has the greatest numerical strength opposing the sitting government. I hope when the debate comes on these matters, you can use these materials very well to make good arguments. So let's look at, because the leader of the opposition obtains power from the political party. I also want you to know, where does the political party obtain its mandate, authority, and power? So section 1, subsection 1 of the Political Parties and Organizations Act defines a political party. That organization, the objective of which include influencing of political processes. So we are now going to the mandate. Influencing political processes. And then sponsoring political agenda, but have highlighted a political office to participate in the governance of Uganda. So, if you are a shadow cabinet minister, you are part and parcel of the influencing of the political processes as derived and thought through by that political party. So, I have given a brief summary of these laws, which I will leave. The next slide has them. So this is where you find the things we have mentioned. We are looking for sources of power. We are looking for authority. We are looking for delegation. We are looking for mandate. You find them in the Constitution, and I've cited them. You find them in your rules of procedure. You find them in the Political Parties and Organizations Act. So a shadow cabinet cannot exist without a political party in opposition. It may not happen, but there is a likelihood that one day a parliament may have only members of parliament from one political party. It is possible. It is also possible that a presidential candidate may win an elections in Uganda without a member of parliament. You know it can happen. That someone wins and has no single member of parliament. Because that's the hybrid system we have. So in that case, you won't have shadow cabinet. Because there are no members of the opposition, there is no political party with the numerical strength in parliament. So these are now the brief highlights, and these highlights I will not spend a lot of time because my co-facilitators have highlighted them. What I will do is to give you some examples which you can relate with quickly on how to handle this. So we have been told already about the alternative policy statements. So the shadow cabinet will determine, and Madam Director highlighted this, the whole technical bench is available. But can you determine an alternative policy without knowing the current policy? Is it possible? It's not possible. So if you want to propose alternatives to UPE as the Shadow Minister for Education, you must thoroughly know the policies around UPE. If it is about maternal services, you must know what they are offering now. Are the ambulances well equipped to transport a pregnant mother? Okay, the ambulance must be there, but if the government policy is that you must also pay money, fuel to be taken, then your policy alternative can be our ambulances are going to be completely free. If you're looking at health centers and you want to propose alternative, you must know the structure. Currently from health center 3s up to the rest. In some proposals, you may do away completely with health center 3s, even health center 4s, and just say one good hospital per district for me is enough. So you can only propose the alternative when you know the current. Attending Parliament, already talked about it. Now, as a member of Parliament and a member of the shadow cabinet, it looks so bad for the leader of the opposition, the chief opposition whip, to sit there on the front bench, and behind them and beside them there are no members. You know how difficult it is. And for us members of the opposition, we are always very quick to raise issues when we don't see the front bench of government. And so I remember during our time, sometimes we also ask, how about your side? Of course, they have a higher responsibility, but also your side, you must be there. So if you have accepted the responsibility of being a shadow cabinet, means be available. Because the leader of the opposition may or may not have everything on their fingertips. It is you, the shadow minister, as you will see later, that can give them. Remember how our system works. You will not be allowed to speak all the time. But the leader of the opposition has unfettered access to the microphone in Parliament. Only a speaker who may not understand can try to interfere. But the moment the leader of the opposition stands up, everyone else must. And it's automatic. You cannot stop a leader of the opposition from speaking. But if you, the shadow minister, cannot support the leader of the opposition to respond to certain things, if you are talking, for example, recently, I think yesterday or the other day, I saw the Minister of Defense of Uganda saying we have been recruiting 10,000 or so soldiers every year. Now we are about 50,000 soldiers. And they've been doing that for the last 10 or 20 years. And if you ask them, if you analyze the salary structures and etc., and you try to match it, because they say we have this number of men in uniform, and you compare against the exits, the retirement. If you have been recruiting 10,000, 14,000 soldiers every year, and then we have less than 1,000 retired, and then we see the amount of money you're asking for salaries, you may find that actually the actual recruitment may not actually be that 10,000 or 14. It is just used for purpose of justifying the salary, and the salary goes somewhere. So you, the shadow minister for defense, quickly should be able to support your leader of the opposition to answer that. The issue about